Good morning. This is Robin Blackstone, and today we are continuing with our examination and evaluation of how medicine is paid for in the United States. I know that you, as one of my colleagues, has probably been very focused on this and worried about it. So hopefully this series that we're doing this week will help you understand it better. Why faster medicine keeps making the day longer. How payment turns innovation into pressure. Medicine moves faster than it used to. Procedures take less time, images are sharper, results arrive sooner, decisions land faster. Yet for many clinicians, the day feels heavier, not lighter. Schedules stretch, cognitive load rises, margins are thinner, slack disappears. This is not a paradox. It's the result of how American medicine is paid. Medicare did not set out to control medicine. It set out to explain itself. In its early years, payment followed charges. Doctors billed, Medicare paid. Prices varied by town, habit, and leverage. The system was loose, uneven, and hard to defend. But it moved with medicine as medicine changed. That looseness became a problem once spending rose. By the late 1980s, lawmakers wanted answers they could point to. Why does this pay more than that? Why does the same service cost more here than there? Because that's what doctors charge, stopped working as an explanation. So Medicare built a grid. Services were lined up, ranked, given numbers. Those numbers turned into dollars. The goal was not control. The goal was order. On paper, it worked. Then work became a unit. Instead of pricing outcomes, the system priced effort, time, skill, risk, stress. Each service became a unit of work that could be compared to others, not priced on its own terms, but in relation to the rest of the grid. This solved a real problem. It reduced wild variation. It gave policymakers a language they could defend. But it also locked in an assumption that no longer holds, that medical work is made of stable tasks, done by stable roles. Much of modern care does not live inside a single act. Value now comes from seeing risk early, holding a plan together, integrating data across time, preventing harm before it happens. That work is real. It is skilled. It is demanding, but it does not break cleanly into billable units. So the system leans harder on what it can see: time in the room, hands on the patient, a named procedure, a finished act. When work becomes faster, the system does not release pressure. It fills the space. Shorter procedures become fuller schedules. Better tools expand volume. Insight saves time and loses value. Once work was priced this way, someone had to keep the grid intact. That job fell to a committee, not by design, by default. The RUC committee, RUC, was meant to advise. It became central because no better national valuation process emerged. Over time, stability became its own quiet mandate. New work is rarely priced on its own terms. It is mapped onto old services, compared to familiar tasks, anchored to the past. This keeps the grid standing, but it also keeps old assumptions alive. What emerges is not conspiracy, it is dependence. A system built for small moves becomes hostile to resets. Every pricing system shows what it values by what it can see. This one sees acts. It struggles to see judgment. It pays for what happens, not for what is prevented from happening. It rewards volume, not readiness. In high-volume settings, the gaps hide. In low-volume settings, they break things. Services disappear not because they lack value, but because the system cannot name it. No one had to act in bad faith for this to happen. The system did what it was built to do. It defended itself. But a structure built for stability in a slower era has become brittle in a faster one. That brittleness shows up as burnout, shrinking access, closed services, innovation that speeds care but not relief. Understanding how medicine is priced is not academic. It explains why the strain feels structural, because it is. This is not the end of the story. It is the map. If you've worked inside healthcare and felt the ground tighten as tools improved, this structure explains why. The next step is asking what changes when value is defined differently, and who gets to decide. This essay is the entry point into a longer analysis of how American medicine is priced. If this helped you name something you've been feeling, you can subscribe or you can pass it on. Thank you for listening.